Oh, wrong way. Good evening, everybody. That was a little bit of a rookie mistake, wasn't it? No, and I'm just like turning the lights on so you can see. Hope everyone is well. Good evening. My name is Kelley Farley. I'm an independent Stampin' Art demonstrator in Karaka, Auckland. And I do a Sunday night and a Wednesday night live to share stamping with you. So thank you if you are joining me. I'm just trying to get up on my screen so that I can see who's there with me and respond to comments as they come up. Hi Lisa. So tonight we've got this card here which sits down like that, will fit in a standard envelope and then opens out and sits like that. And then so I've just put my greeting on the inside. You could put it up here, but I quite liked the designer series paper on here. I would maybe do a belly band, not though, because it's quite thick under here with all of the card and stuff that's there. So that is something that is a change that I'd probably make, but it's quite a cute card, so it sits quite nicely on display. You can't really see it, but it'll sit like that, so you can see the whole thing, and then inside there's a space for you to write your message. Now, good evening. Oh my gosh, on your television again. Lucky my face is not on there, Karen. It's just the card. That'll be a little bit scary putting my face up there. I got this idea from a lady called Sue. Now her name is Sue Campfield, but she calls herself Sue Stampfield. And her measurements on this are 8.5, which is the width of the American size cardstock. So I'm actually, and I found that when I was doing this, some of the measurements weren't lining up too well. So I'm actually going to adjust it slightly so that we can use, not at all, you're too kind, so that we can use just a piece of A4 card. So then with all of these pieces, it looks a lot. When I looked at that, I was like, oh my god, how many strips of cardboard are there? But actually it's essentially one piece of card for the whole. Yeah, you end up using one piece of card. So I'm just going to pop that there. We're going to start. Oh, that's a bit crooked. Let me put that there. I've used two of our new colours. Well, one new, one returning. So this card base, whoops, this card base here, and I'm getting my bits of paper. The card base here is Boho Blue, which is one of the new Inn colours. And then I've also got, just to coordinate with the paper, this is Misty Moonlight. So just been a good timing, Andrea. The Misty Moonlight is actually a returning colour from a few years ago. It was an Inn colour. Now is in the main core group. This designer series paper that I've got, so this is Little Foxes, and it's got quite a masculine side on the back. It is Boho, as a pretty blue. And then I've got these pieces here, which I can't remember how they line up, but I might have got different bits that way. And then that one is the stripes on the side. So there's rabbits, foxes, birds, I think. It's called the Countryside Inn, so it's all blues and whites and grey. Well, I don't know, is that grey or is that just a really light blue? I think that might be blue, really light blue. So there's like 5 different blues on a white background. So what we're going to do is start off with our card base, or our card pieces. So let me just get the designer series paper out of the way. So the first one is the back, what I've called the back on the instructions. The back is A6, so it is essentially a quarter piece of your A4. So if you were to cut your A4 piece into 4 equal pieces, you would get this size. All right, so that's this piece here. You have it in your paper share, Andrea. It's one of the new ones, and it's in the paper share. And then we have, this time around, I'm actually going to use one of our A4. The other one, I cut the paper and ended up with lots of offcuts. So this is 8 1/4 by 5 7/8. Initially, I did 8 1/2, which is another 1/4 inch. I'm actually just going to take the 1/4 inch off this side when I score it. So this is just a standard A5 piece cut in half. Oh, Lisa, it's very pretty. It is. I have to say, it's one that I looked at and I went, but I do quite like it. And this one here is the Misty Moonlight. You could do it all in the same color if you wanted to. I just wanted something a little bit different on the front. And this panel here is 3 1/2 inches by 5 7/8. So all of them are the same height, which is their A4 cut in half, which if you were to do in centimeters is like 14.8 centimeters. Spend your back pay. I know, we're not going to get much of it though, are we? And so that's the card bases. That's what you need. So essentially you would have a little tiny strip left over from if you were using the same color. So it would be one piece of A4 card. If you obviously want to have 2 colors, then that's fine too. Okay, so let's start with this piece here, and we're going to score it. Now, the instructions that I did on my first one was 1 1/2, and I'm actually going to change that to 1 1/4. If you want to do, what I also discovered is this piece here that it gets stuck onto at the back is smaller than this piece here. Okay, so the left hand score and the right hand score are not equal, and I was like, oh my god, I've done it wrong. But when you pop it together, they meet in the middle. So the wing bits are the same size, but the flaps are not, if that makes sense. I need to put something on the front of that. I think maybe I should have put my sentiment up there, but or I'll put something else there. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start with this, and we're going to score at 1 1/4. Okay, so this is going to be the left hand side of our card. 1 1/4, 2 3/4. Which means that that's 1 1/2 in there, and then 5 1/4, which gives us our center panel. And then we need just a little bit out here. We need to go to 6 1/2. And that is our scoring. I might have cut my paper incorrectly, so I'm just gonna leave my tray. So we're going to have, just what I would suggest is you fold back a couple of times just to loosen those fibers. All right, and then it's going to sit a lot better as well. It's not going to pop out as much, but we want to loosen those fibers and get a really nice deep score mark. So we've got a little, so this panel here is our center piece where we can write or put our message. fits like that. That's good. Sorry about that dinging. Someone's been sending messages to me. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to decorate this one, and I'm actually, yeah, I have cut it too wide. So I'm going to trim that down. So this piece, and I actually had meant to put the spots on that side. This piece is, what is that? 1 3/4, and it needs to be 1 1/2. Is it 1 3/4? Yeah. So we'll go, let's go 1 3/8. Is that 1 2 3? Yeah. And let's see. Now this is possibly different. It will be different because I've adjusted the score lines. So this piece of DSP is 1 and yeah, 1 2 3 4 5. 1 5/8 by 5 5/8. Okay. 1 5/8 by 5 5/8, and that piece is going to go there, and you get that nice little edge around it. If you want to layer it with cardstock, you can. So use that measurement as your cardstock, and then cut your designer series paper down slightly. So this is where I also think I've gone wrong with my pieces in the middle, which is causing a problem for me closing my card at the moment. So this panel is just under, is 1 1/2. So this needs to actually be 1 1/4. No, 1 and, so 1 is 1 1/2. 1 3/8. Nope, it's 1 1/4. 1 and 1/8. If it's easier, just go to the nearest eighth, the nearest quarter, and it will give you, it'll just give you a wider piece, wider edge. Actually, we probably need to do that now. Those are different sizes. Why are they different sizes? They shouldn't be different sizes, it should be the same. Alright, let's double check. 1 1/4, 2 3/4, 5 1/4, 6 1/2. That's slightly out. Okay, let's redo that one and see if we can make it work. Still means that one's wider. Okay, so then this one, you're not going to see it, so I've just scored that at, which looks crooked. Maybe that was my problem, maybe that line was crooked. So instead of 1 1/4, I've gone to 1 3/8. I would use a piece of, because I've had to adjust it from American sizing. Don't stress about this bit here, especially if it's the first panel, because use your bone folder and flatten out that score line, but your front piece here is going to be covering that, so you're not going to see it. Alright, so if you've done what I've done, I made a bit of a mess of it. Now, what does that mean? I'm just showing you what not to do. I'm good like that. Okay, so that should then fit better in there, and it does. So actually removing the quarter was too big. It needed to be an eighth that I took out, and then that needs to go there, like that. And then we have a piece of white, which is 2 1/4 by 5 7/8, and that just sits in the center there. You can stamp that if you want to before you pop it on. So that is where that's going to go. Alright, so let's glue it down. I'd obviously mixed up my pieces. I thought I had two. Oh no, they were continuous in the designer series paper. This designer series paper is, there's also a hybrid embossing folder. So this piece here, which has the medallions on it, actually fits and lines up with the embossing folder as well. I don't have that to show you, but there are videos around that have it, which is super cool. So it goes around this part here where the medallion is. Oh, these foxies are so cute. Alright, so what we need to do is, that's going to be folded as what's termed a mountain fold. Alright, so it's up like a mountain. The next one is a valley fold, because you're going to fold in on itself. You're not putting designer series paper on the left hand side. You could, there's no point, because you're covering it up completely. Alright, like that. And then this piece is your flat piece, and then you're going to fold in like a valley, like a V, and then this one is going to go out like the mountain fold. So you have that. Alright, so that is your card that comes out to the front, that opens. See where that U shape, and see this piece here is smaller than this piece. If that does your head in, then by all means adjust it so that you've got this actually more centered, and then these two panels are the same size, and then these two are the same size. It's what is it, 8 1/4. You could do 2, and then what's that? One 1/4. So you could do 2, 1, and then have a piece in the middle. You could do it however you liked. I am not going to stamp on here. I'm just going to leave it blank for the message. And just line that up so that your pieces along the bottom and the top are lined up, because they're all the same length. Alright, so we're going to pop that to the side. This piece here is our front piece, which has got our designer series paper on it. I'm going to pop that on. Let's go that direction. That keeps our card nice and straight. Then I can line that up evenly around the edge, like so. I'm not sure if I want to put some ribbon on that. I'm going to think about it. And then this piece here is our back piece, and these last two pieces of design series paper, which are 3/4 of an inch wide, and the same length, same height as that. No, same as these, same length as those designer series paper. So I need to make sure that my paper matches up. So I'm just going to make this so Sue also, her card was only 5.5 inches, which is standard American size. So some of the measurements I just used the standard sizes that I use when I make cuts. So that's going to go on there like that. This, yeah, see, it overlaps. So I was right in the first place, but this feels like it's going to be in the way. But basically, you're going to do that up, and then that you want to center this on your card base. And if you hold it up, well, actually, if you put it to the side like that, you can center it between those two pieces of designer series paper there. Okay, so we're just going to glue that. Not too much because we don't want it oozing out everywhere, but we want it to hold. Alright, so it lines up with the top and bottom, but you want to put it so that it's straight in between. Don't stick yet, so that it's nice and straight at the bottom and at the top. Alright, and then you can open it flat. If you want to decorate this inside bit, you can, and you can put a piece on the back here as your writing piece. Alright, so then we've got this like that. Now she just glued it. It's annoying how it's not sitting, but it's fine. She put glue on here, and then this is centered on your card. So if that annoys you, bring it over a little bit further. But if you want it centered, you'll have this bit here. Remember, you're not going to see, but if you line it up with your designer series paper, then it'll be quite nicely hidden behind there. It just looks like there's another matting there. I used dimensionals last time because I had ribbon on it. I'm not going to this time. I'm just going to pop this on and make sure that it is flat. And then you're just going to grab this, and I'm going to center it at the bottom. And I'm actually just going to make sure that it's centered in the card, top and bottom, and side. And then we're just going to push that down. And then that opens out like so. And you can put your message in there. I think this time I'm going to, I've got some Boho blue in my, I haven't used this one for a while, so I thought, why not use this? Biggest Wish is the stamp set that I'm going to use. And then I've got 2 tones. And then I've got one of the, now I want Happy, lighter. So I want Boho blue and Birthday in that one. So let me punch it out. Alright, so I'm actually going to stamp backwards, and I'm going to pop in the birthday first, and I want to make sure that it fits inside, but I want it a little lower down than what I did it last time. Let's clean my stamp. And then we're going to use Can you read that? Nope. And then I'm going to pop that about there. Okay, so that is that. Oh, I've got ink under my fingernail. Thanks, Lisa. It's nice to, like, so the cardstock is obviously Boho, and it's nice to do that tone on tone, because even though it's the same colour, it's slightly darker. The ink is slightly darker than the card. And then I think we'll pop that on there. And actually, let's make a belly band, because it's going to irritate me. Let's go Boho. I think I've got a bit more of that. And I've got a piece that I cut off before. Oh, and that's Boho too, so that makes a bit more sense. So let's go about 3/4 of an inch, and this is the full length of an A4. So when I was doing it at 8.5, I used, this is what I had left over. So then what we're going to do is we're going to bring that now. We want to be able to get our belly band folded this way because of the cut. So we don't want it too tight, but we don't want it too loose either. We don't want the card to fall out. So I'm going to pop that over like that. I don't want my raw edge showing, so I'm going to trim that off. If I pinch that, can I slide it? Yes. So, alright, no, that's still too raw, I think. It's going to be so let's just trim that bit off, and then can pop some glue there and there. So we want it to have a bit of bounce. Then we're going to slip this on. Then using some dimensionals, using the negative of your punch is actually really helpful too, because you can pop that on and see how well that's lined up. I can go over a little bit more. So if I line that, it's about the same width as the then you can line it up with your negative to to get it in the right place. And then you can pop that on there like that. Yeah, you can do it with your dies as well. When you cut out your negative, don't throw the die away straight away. You can use that to help line up your piece. So you can take that off, and then you can make that. You can make your belly band or add the sentiment to your belly band a bit later on. And let's put some little bit of sparkle on. Oh, no worries, Andrea. Excuse me. I've been writing reports most of the weekend, so my brain is a little bit dead. Yeah, and it kind of just keeps it all together as well. I might end up putting a belly band on that too. Even with the ribbon, the ribbon makes it a little bit harder, but some on there. And then just let's put some on the flowers. Because who doesn't love a little bit of bling in their life? Excuse me. Okay, let me get rid of some of this stuff. And we will do, oops. Do our drawer. Thank you, ladies, for giving both of those, the technique and the fancy fold, a go. It's really cool to see so many different options for our cards that we make. So yeah, it was really awesome. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed making them. And whoops. Okay, so we've got, why have I got one missing there? We've got 8 entries. I think it was 4 on each card, maybe. Yeah. So congratulations. Well, not congratulations. Thank you very much. And I hope congratulations on amazing cards that you've made. It is congratulations. So I've got Karen twice, Sandra, Jill twice, Andrea twice, Catherine once, and Sandra once. So let's give this a spin. Andrea, Karen, did I send you? My brain is really. It's the 11th. Jill and Karen is 7. It's been a 4th. Okay, congratulations, Andrea. Let's remove one of you and spin again. Sandra. Congratulations, Sandra. Thank you for in making a card and popping it on my page, all of you. Thank you, Karen. You've done like a heap, which is really nice to see, that you've been so keen to make them and managed to get a couple. So you must have quite a nice stash of cards now to give to people. Right, we've gone over time. It's now 6 minutes past, and there's only 2 of you here. Thank you very much, ladies. And I will see you on Wednesday night for another fancy fold card. Bye for now. Good, I'm glad you love them. Bye for now.